Sun coming up over St. Louis. Great view of it here. 16th floor. We're in the University Tower across from the Galleria. It's the First Rule Film and Broadcast Studio here. It is a great view, really. Looking downtown, you see the skyline. I think I can see Westport. If David Solomon could just run outside in the courtyard and wave, I think I can see Westport from here. What a view it is. McGraw out under the weather today. Hopefully back at it tomorrow. Time now to welcome in David Stokes from the Show Me Institute, policy analyst. David, welcome. What a great morning.
It's great to be here, Martin. Great to be here,
and
Aaron.
For those who, the uninitiated who don't follow along closely, remind everybody what the Show Me Institute does.
Well, the Show Me Institute is Missouri's free market public policy organization or think tank. We do a lot of research on economic and tax issues and publish it and communicate it out to the public. And it's just, we try to do solid economic research from a very free market oriented perspective.
All right. And right now we're going to focus on Arnold and what's taking place there and something that's in front of the voters in Arnold.
It's going to be a very interesting decision. Here in about a little over 2 weeks, the people of Arnold will decide whether or not they want to privatize their sewer system to Missouri American Water, and in this case, Missouri American Wastewater. Arnold owns its sewers. Unlike most of the area, which is covered by MSD, the sewers in Arnold, of course, they're in North Jefferson County, were just operated by the city of Arnold. And now they have a tough choice here because they've got to do significant upgrades to that sewer system. And in lieu of the very substantial rate hikes that they would need to do that in Arnold, they proposed privatizing the system to Missouri American, who would pay the city of Arnold about $13 million for the rights to then own and operate the sewers going forward. And then there'd be some debt swaps. So in the end, Arnold would net about $9 million out of it. And I think it would be, from a policy perspective, I think it would be a very good deal for the taxpayers and citizens of Arnold.
Would it mean lower utility bills for residents?
It would not. It would mean Missouri American has, I understand, agreed with Arnold to some type of scheduled rate increases in the future here, and they're going to hold those rate increases low. And, of course, any increase would now be governed by the Public Service Commission, which is the state utility regulatory body. Arnold's in a situation because, like, the main problem with government-owned utilities, such as Arnold's sewer system or the St. Louis City water system, is that it's politically difficult for politicians to raise rates. They pay a price when you raise the rates. People get angry, withhold votes, whatever. So they don't do it enough. And then you lack the investment in your infrastructure because politicians like to be able to say we hold our rates low. That has short-term benefits for that, but long-term problems. So Arnold's in a situation where they can't put it off any longer. They're going to have to make major investments in their sewer infrastructure, and they've just looked at it and said that really the better deal for the citizens of the area is to privatize it and let an expert agency like Missouri American Water take it over.
If the city council is saying, and they voted 6-1 Thursday night back in August to place this on the ballot, if they're saying we think this is probably a good idea for the city, if people reject it, what are they choosing then for the city to sort of, well, we didn't like that idea, figure it out?
I think they're choosing then that the city will continue to operate the sewer system, but there would be substantial rate increases in order to do that. So the people, if they say no to this, and they have every right to do so, but by all accounts, they're going to see very large rate increases at Arnold if Arnold has to make their own investments to upgrade this system. Missouri American, with their great resources and I should say large resources, is, I think, going to be able to do this with less of a necessary rate increase for the people of Arnold.
Is this involving MSD, Metropolitan Sewer? Are they in conjunction with this, or is Missouri American? Because when I think of sewers, I only think of MSD. Is this in conjunction, or is Missouri American Water sort of a rival in this business?
Well, I think because this is Jefferson County, it doesn't involve MSD. So I think Arnold had shared some resources with MSD. Part of this swap, this deal, is that Missouri American will take over the debt for some money Arnold owes to MSD. But Arnold owned its sewers. I mean, MSD doesn't own the sewers there like they own the sewers in St. Louis City and County. So this is Arnold, and I don't think Arnold could do this to MSD because that would involve major changes to the charter of the Metropolitan Sewer District. So the city council, 6-1, decided that this is the best deal, in their opinion, for the people of Arnold, who now, rightfully so, get to make the final determination themselves here in just over 2 weeks.
Any downside here for them if they do say yes? It sounds like the best deal. Do you see anything where it wouldn't be a good deal for them? I mean, it doesn't sound like they have a lot of great choices.
Right.
Well, and that's one of the problems. That's why you see these sewer or water or other utility privatizations. That's what you saw in Webster Groves and Florissant a little over a decade ago when they owned their own municipal water systems. And it got to the point in about 2002 where they couldn't put it off any longer. They were going to need substantial rate hikes to upgrade their water systems. And in both cases, the cities chose that the better deal for their residents was to privatize the water system to Missouri American. And those deals, again, a little over a decade ago, were completely uncontroversial. There hasn't been any problems or scandals from it. There were deals that, by all accounts, went down very well. And I think that's what you'd see here in Arnold. You'd see a few years from now, people would say, well, if it passes, most people probably won't even notice the difference.
Is there a place residents can go to find out more about this, to familiarize themselves with the ballot?
Well, we have some writings on it at showmeinstitute.org. I think the city of Arnold, certainly, at their website has some information, and I know the Leader, which is the local paper down in Arnold, has done some stories on it as well.
I would think, just a skeptical view would be, if the city ran the sewer department, they wouldn't be in it for profit. Missouri American's going to be in this for profit. Is there a downside to that? Whereas the city, the motivation there would be just to get it done. If I'm Missouri American, hey, I'll take this on, but I'm also going to make some money out of this.
That is a good critique often made of it, and a fair question. Two things. Important to remind people that Missouri Americans' rates would be heavily regulated by the Public Service Commission. You're not like the water, gas, and electric in St. Louis County, like gas and electric in St. Louis City, like utilities throughout the area. The Public Service Commission is going to have to approve any rate hikes here. Second of all is that the profit motive is a good thing in many cases. This is a capitalist society. It's that profit motive that brings the drive for efficiency, that brings the drive to do it more effectively, more cost effectively, and more efficiently, to do it less expensively than the government needs to. The city of Arnold, like any municipal utility, it's time for the chickens are coming home to roost here. They haven't invested in the infrastructure because it's hard when you're a politician to go to voters and say, hey, let's raise the rates. It's a better system when private businesses, and in this case regulators, are making those rate choices, I believe.
David Stokes, Show Me Institute, with us here on KTRS. I'm curious, in terms of what you guys dig into and sort of do the think tank review, how much of it is driven by somebody calling or emailing and saying, hey, I'm from Arnold, I want you to look into this, or hey, in my neighborhood they've got this bill put together. How do you guys decide what to zero in on?
Well, we do take suggestions from the public. Absolutely. If we get an email or call with a good idea that fits into our parameters, we'll listen to that, of course. But we've got about 6 policy areas: taxes, education, healthcare, privatization, government red tape, and one more that's escaping me at the moment. If it fits within those parameters and it's a state or local issue, because we don't do national issues at the Show Me Institute, then absolutely we'll consider suggestions from the public, and we love getting them.
But these upgrades are needed, and you think it's in the residents' best interest to vote yes on the ballot?
I think by all accounts the upgrades are needed, and it is as appropriately, it's the residents' final decision. They should have that. That's both the city charter of Arnold requiring it, and also some state laws when you privatize these types of utilities. But it's up to the people of Arnold. I think like the Florissant and the Webster Groves water deals of a little over a decade ago, I think if this is passed, then a few years ago, most people won't even notice the difference. They'll just continue to get good service
and pay the bill, right?
At fair rates. They'll pay the bill, and they'll be happy of it. And there was no controversy when Florissant and Webster Groves did that, and I don't think there'll be controversy here.
I want you both to know I showed great restraint. How many times I want to say this would not be money going down the drain. I tried
Lord.
really hard to make it through the whole segment. David Stokes, Show Me Institute. David, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Aaron.
All right, the McGraw Show
you.
continues. We'll come back, talk some Tiger football on the Tiger Network with Mike